Here we are again for our second session, continuing on with Dr. Henry Cloud's book, 9 Things You Simply Must Do. Using this book as a guide, along with the Word of God, to show us how we can be victorious and, as Dr. Cloud calls it, successful in life and in love. We know that God is love, and everything that is about God has to do with relationship. And Dr. Cloud has developed this book and put it together in our last session. Session 1, we dealt with the first principle, which was entitled Dig It Up. And if you haven't had an opportunity to view some of those videos on the first session, I would encourage you to check them out. There's some vital information that's been shared in those videos. Now we're getting ready to go into session 2. And the session 2 deals with principle 2. Now there are 9 principles. 9 principles. And the second of those 9 is pull the tooth. And so this session is called Pull the Tooth. In lay terms, or in other words, get rid of it. Get rid of it. Too often we go through life, we have all of these various experiences that, you know, we hold on to stuff. In our last session, we talked about digging up good stuff as well as digging up the bad stuff. And we said that the bad stuff, we need to toss it. All of the good stuff that we dig up, we need to sow it so that it comes back to us again. Well, Dr. Cloud tells us now the second principle of the deja vu person, or that successful person, is they will pull the tooth. Now, I think most of us know when we were probably, about 4 or 5 years old and lose a tooth here and lose a tooth there, and some kids were probably a lot more braver than others, and they'd go get the string and tie it around the tooth and go, ooh, Lord, go to the doorknob and tie the string around the doorknob and then slam the door to yank that tooth out. Well, that's a painful process. Others allow the tooth to stay there and hurt and hurt and hurt until it gets so loose until it drops out itself. But all of the time that they're holding on to that tooth, they are going through pain. Well, Dr. Cloud says successful people, or the deja vu person, that person that does things that have a certain way of doing things that brings success into their lives, when that tooth starts giving them pain, they don't wait, they pull it and get rid of it. Now, he has a quote here that says, successful people do not hang on to bad stuff for long. Now, that takes me back to the scenario of the kid with the tooth that is not brave enough to pull it, because even though that tooth might be painful now, anticipating getting rid of it seems even more painful, and they don't want to do that because it's too much pain. Well, you know, I think about some of the baggage and some of the stuff that we hold on to in life. And when we're talking about being successful, remember, we said in our previous session that success has no one definition. Success to me may not look like success to you. But this is where we have to know who we are and whose we are. Victory in my life may not be the same victory as it is in your life. But you've got to know where your victory is. I've got to know where my victory is. Then on the same hand, the pain of holding on to stuff, I've got to recognize when I'm holding on to something that's creating more pain, and be willing to trust God to get rid of that pain, even though I anticipate the release of it being more painful than holding on to it. Understanding that if I can just pull that tooth and get rid of it, guess what? When the babies get rid of that tooth, guess what else is underneath there? There's another tooth coming. You see, now children, when they go trying to think about pulling that tooth, they don't realize that there's another tooth. Oh, they know that this tooth is in my way. I'm trying to eat my french fries, and every time I bite down, it's wiggling and it's hurting and it's bothering me. And those that are brave enough, you know, we talked about digging it up and talked about being willing. Remember the 3 servants in Matthew? Well, the first one and the second one was willing to take risks. I believe that was Matthew 25. Let's see. Do you want to grab a Bible for me? My Bible right over there. I believe we were talking about those 3 servants, and the 2 that was willing to take what they had and sow it, and that third one that wasn't willing to take the risk, was too afraid. Figure, I better not do anything with this seed, because I know when the master comes, you know, he wants to know that I still have what he gave me. But the other 2 were willing to take what they had, sow it, and multiplied it back. And that's what God intends for us to do in our lives. Well, the little child that has that tooth that is painful, they don't know that if they just get rid of that tooth, up underneath there, there's some more good stuff coming that's going to be even greater and stronger.
And longer lasting.
And last longer, can endure a whole lot more. My God, that's something right there. That's something right there. Some of you that might be looking at this video right now, you're holding on to stuff, so afraid of letting it go for fear that there's nothing better coming, and that you're holding on to is creating more chaos in your life, keeping you defeated. We're talking about